This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. This is not my closet filled with everything I love, because right now I'm in the dystopia known as Hollywood, California. That means two things. Once I get out of this car, I'm going to smell nothing but weed and probably get a contact high, which is okay. And secondly, I'm here for opening night of the Film Noir Festival at the Egyptian Theater. They're going to feature tonight their newest restoration. It was a group effort by the Film Noir Foundation and UCLA, and the film is called Never Open That Door. It's an Argentinian film, so it's going to be in Spanish, and looking forward to it. It's from 1952, so we'll check back with you later. Also, Cornell Woolrich, who wrote so many great film noirs, he's the writer for this film. Let's check it out. Well, the Egyptian Theater was packed with enthusiastic film noir fans for Noir City number 25. Eddie Muller, the czar of noir, gave the introduction to the film, and he was also accompanied by Alan K. Rhodey, who shows up at a lot of these festivals and is a writer himself. And also Ben Mankiewicz of TCM was spotted in the lobby as we were leaving. The film, like I said, that they presented today was Never Open That Door from 1952. It's an Argentinian film, so it was in Spanish with English subtitles and in black and white. And the film consisted of two different stories written by Cornell Woolrich. His writing was a source material, and his writing is a source material for so many great films like Rear Window and The Bride Wore Black and The Night Has a Thousand Eyes and The Chase. And there were two stories in this one. The first one was called Somebody on the Phone, and that was about a man who's trying to protect his sister, who is apparently being blackmailed. And the other story was called The Hummingbird Comes Home, and that's about an elderly woman whose son had been gone for a long time. He finally came home, but he had just committed a crime. So there was brilliant cinematography, I thought, throughout this film. Good suspense, and twist endings involved as well. My rating for Never Open That Door, I'm going to give this one 4 books out of 5 books, because it's one of those films that begins when a book opens and then the story begins. So Never Open That Door will be released on the label Flicker Alley in the future. It's also going to be on Noir Alley on TCM in June. And speaking of Flicker Alley, they have released all the restored film noir that UCLA and the Film Noir Foundation have produced. And I looked at the merch table in the lobby at the Egyptian Theater, and all the Flicker Alley discs they had worked on were there on the merch table. And that's when I realized I have all of these in my collection. I should have known that already. And I also thought, what a perfect opportunity to share these with you out there in the darkness. Plus, it looks like there could be a Flicker Alley sale in April. So let's take a look at the discs. First off, let me mention that all of the discs I'm going to show you include a DVD and a Blu-ray. They all include a 24-page booklet, a glossy booklet with photos, various artwork, essays that are always very good by top film noir writers, and special features that include usually an introduction by Eddie Muller to the film, various profiles of the filmmakers involved, the actors, interviews as well with filmmakers and actors. Sometimes there's a making of documentary, and sometimes there are restoration demonstrations to show you what the film used to look like and how they improved it. And sometimes some of these films were in really terrible shape. There was maybe only one print available, and they saved it somehow. And so they tell the stories behind those. I've seen the extras on all of these films I'm going to show you, all these discs, and they're always good. They're always insightful and informative and not too long either, which is good. So we're going to start with 3 other films that they produced that were from Argentina, and that includes The Beast Must Die. This is from 1952. This is about a man who's seeking revenge for the death of his young son. Next up, we have The Bitter Stems. This is from 1956. This is about a bogus correspondence school and a man who's trying to plot the perfect crime. This one has really wonderful cinematography featured in here and lots of good twists involved. And then the last Argentinian film, El Vampiro Negro, or The Black Vampire. It's not about a vampire. It's really a remake of Fritz Lang's film M, but this time focusing more on the female characters. Now, these three Argentinian films, I've posted episodes on all three of these, so I'm going through them pretty fast, but if you want more details, you can check out those episodes. Let me show you what it looks like inside these discs. So we have the Blu-ray and the DVD, we have the booklet, and with these Argentinian films, you're also going to have reversible artwork with the original artwork in Spanish there. And then you have the booklet, which, like I said, is glossy, has some photographs, some very good writing. And this guy is apparently was a very big star in Argentina, and he's very good in this. Now let's take a look at what I think are the very two first films that Flicker Alley produced in coordination with UCLA and the Film Noir Foundation, starting with Too Late for Tears from 1949. This one stars Elizabeth Scott and Dan Duryea, who have appeared in so many of these types of films and are always so good. And this is almost like what I think of as almost like a subgenre of film noir, or a subgenre of film where we have people who come across a huge sum of money mysteriously and decide to keep it, but the people who are the, quote, rightful owners decide they want it back. Next up we have Woman on the Run, which is from 1950. This one's shot on location in San Francisco. And you can't go wrong shooting in San Francisco because it's maybe the most beautiful city in the United States, so it's always going to look good. This is about a man who goes into hiding after witnessing a gangland execution, and so the police follow his wife, figuring that she'll lead the police to where her husband is hiding. And then next I want to talk about The Man Who Cheated Himself from 1950. This is about a homicide detective who helps his girlfriend cover up a murder that she committed. This one's also set in San Francisco, and Lee J. Cobb is the detective here. He's one of my favorite actors, and he was fresh off of performing as in Death of a Salesman, performing as Willie Loman character in Death of a Salesman on Broadway. And he's perfect for that role, of course. And surprisingly, his girlfriend who commits the murder is played by Jane Wyatt, who is probably best known for the wholesome sitcom Father Knows Best. She was a typical suburban housewife in that one. Then from 1949, we have Trapped, and this is about a convicted counterfeiter who is released from prison so he can help some treasury agents track down a new counterfeiting ring, since he's the expert in counterfeiting. And this one also stars Lloyd Bridges, and probably his first starring role. We also have a double feature, and that one is The Guilty and High Tide. High Tide, not to be confused with the other film called High Tide that starred Dennis Hopper. These are both from 1947, and they're both quite short. It's 71 minutes each. The Guilty is about two war veterans who meet these twin girls. One girl's good, one girl's bad. It's a very low budget film. I think that's 3 sets are used in the whole film. And it's also based on a Cornell Woolrich story. High Tide has the same screenwriter, the same director, the same lead actor, Don Castle, I believe is his name. This is a pretty unusual film. It's after a car crash. These two guys are pinned underneath the car, and they start talking and realizing how their lives have intersected in ways they weren't aware of. This one is set in Los Angeles. In fact, I believe the road they drive off of is in Malibu. And finally, what I think is the actual latest release, film noir release from Flicker Alley, and that is a repeat performance from 1947. This is about an actress who magically relives the last year of her life, hoping that she can correct this tragic mistake that she made. This has more of a supernatural element to it, which shows up occasionally in film noir, not too much. Like, think of something like Alias Nick Beale, for example. And it's probably my least favorite of all these Flicker Alley noir releases, but make no mistake, I like all of their releases. They release other things as well, some silent films, some other types of films, and I have a few of those, and I just think they always do a good job with whatever they're releasing. So, as always, I'd like to mention where you can see these in case you don't want to buy them, you just want to see them, or you want to check them out first. I would start looking on YouTube because they're so old that they might be on there for free. I would also try TCM, like the TCM app, see if maybe they're on there. The Criterion channel might be streaming some of these. You can buy them, of course. I'll get to that in a second. You can rent some of them at least. Look at my episodes on my channel. You can search for some of these titles because I've done episodes on almost all of these. And I'll give you more details in those episodes, of course. So usually they go for about $30 or so. There is supposed to be a Flicker Alley sale in April, which will be very soon. I'm filming this at the very end of March, so keep an eye out for that. You might get some good prices. I don't mind spending $30 or so for each one because it's a quality product, and I like to support the restoration and the preservation of these films. All the hard work these guys are putting into it, I'm happy to support them with that. So feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down below. Have you seen any of these films or other Flicker Alley films that you recommend? Leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. We're still aiming for 1,500 subscribers. I think we're close to about 1,300. So we'll keep plugging along. Thank you all for subscribing since our last episode. Subscribing is free. Also free is we're on the Letterboxd app under the Kazdoy closet. There's a link in the notes down below. That's where you can read brief written reviews of other things we're watching that we don't talk about here normally. That includes the latest ones, Poor Things, You'll Never Find Me, and of course, Never Open That Door, which we discussed here. So thank you so much for watching. See you next time.